All right, let's talk power to a power here. All right, so I have 3 examples on the board right now. And some of these you've seen, but when you see all 3 of them, hopefully you won't mix them up. So right here I have a plus sign in between my x to the third plus x to the third. They are like terms. We're just combining like terms. I have a 1x cubed plus 1x cubed. I get a 2x. What do I do with the power? I copy. When we add, we copy. Cool? We've done that before. Okay, a few lessons ago, we talked about what happens when you multiply. If you multiply exponents, you just take the exponent and you add them. It becomes a 6. Okay? Now look at this situation. I have x to the third power. Okay, so I have a power to an exponent to a power. In this situation, that's when you multiply. So I'm going to stand back here and let you just digest that. If you can understand the difference between these 3, when you add, you copy. When you multiply, you add. When you power, you multiply. You get that, and you've got exponents, okay? You're in really, really good shape, all right? Now, let me write a few problems up here on the board for us. Let me erase it and come up with some new ones. Okay, let's take a look at it. We're going to start at this one right here. Now, when you have a parentheses and it's squared, here's the part that people forget that I want you to not. That square goes to everything. That square goes to the coefficient. The square goes to the x, and the square goes to the y. So you have to square all of them. So what is 3 squared? 3 times 3, that's going to be a 9, okay? Now, x to the third to the second. Exponent to a power. This is a situation where you're going to multiply, okay? Now let's look at this last one. That's going to be y to the second. Boom, done. That's it. That's my answer. Now let's talk about fractions. Okay, when you see a fraction and you see a square, again, it's in a parenthesis, everybody gets squared, okay? The x to the 4th will get squared. Boom. The 3 will get squared, and the y will get squared. Everybody's got to get squared. So now, x to the 4th squared, this is where you multiply and you get x to the 8th. 3 squared is 9, and y squared is y to the 4th power. Okay? I got one more here, and now we have some negative exponents. Now, the 3 has to go to both. 5 to the third, 5 times 5 is 25, times another 5, do you know? It's 125. X to the what? Well, what's a negative 2 times 3? X to the negative 6. Just treat it like they're any numbers. Negative 2 times 3. How about the bottom? You know what 3 cubed is? 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Y to the negative 4 times 3 to the negative 12. Now, what we can do is 125, 27. The x is not attached to that 125. It's considered a separate thing. So that x right there, this x is going to go down here to the 6, and the y is going to become positive up there. Okay? And so that's how we're going to treat that. So there, my friends, is how we will do with the negative exponents and with the power to a power. I want to do one more up here. So let me erase the board. All right, let's look at this one. So now I have 2 problems that need the exponents going. Well, just like we do in any order of operation, we're going to do our exponents first. So let's not worry about the multiplication yet. So here, I got to square the 3, which is 9. I have to square the x to the 5th, which is x to the 10th, and I have to square the y squared, which is y to the 4th. Times what? Well, I've got to cube the 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. X to the 4th to the 3rd is x to the 12th, and y to the 6th to the 3rd is y to the 18th. This is the situation where we go power to a power, okay? And we multiply. Now, we're multiplying. 9 times 8 is 72. I'm going to have an x. Now that we're multiplying, what do I do with the x's? Is that x to the 120? No, because we're multiplying. When we multiply, we add. Let's do the y's. We're doing a y times y. 4, 18, That's also going to be a 22. We just add. So this is the situation you multiply, and this is the situation where you add. Okay, I hope that really helped you with the power to the power. You're doing great on exponents. I'll see you on the videos.